What if I told you there's a place so cursed, even the bravest people never come back alive? On the edge of a forgotten town stood a building everyone feared. The abandoned asylum. Locals called it the House of Screams. It towered above the empty fields, broken windows staring like hollow eyes. Some nights, people swore they saw lights flickering inside even though the power had been cut for decades. The townsfolk never went near. They whispered stories, how doctors once worked there, not to heal, but to hurt, how patients were strapped to tables, experimented on until they lost their minds, and how their screams still echoed in the night. Most people stayed far away, but not everyone. One stormy night, 5 friends decided to explore it. They wanted to film everything, prove the legends wrong, and post it online. Laughing, joking, they pushed through the rusted gates. Thunder cracked overhead, and the heavy doors groaned open like the asylum was waiting for them. At first, their laughter filled the halls, but the deeper they went, the quieter it became. The air grew cold. Their breath turned white in the beam of their flashlights. Every step they took echoed back at them, as though something was following close behind. The asylum was worse than they expected. Long corridors stretched into darkness. Paint peeled from the walls like rotting skin. Wheelchairs lay overturned, their wheels spinning slowly as if someone had just pushed them. A smell hung in the air: mildew, rust, and something else, something metallic, like old blood. Then the whispers began. At first, it was faint, almost like wind. But soon, it grew clearer. Voices overlapping. Some laughed, some cried, and one, sharp and close, hissed directly in their ears, "Get out while you still can." The friends froze. Nobody laughed now. Still, they pressed on. In one room, they found a surgical table with leather straps stained dark. Jars lined the shelves, filled with cloudy liquid. Inside floated things too twisted to describe: small hands, curled spines, and faces that looked pressed against the glass. One jar rattled on its own. Then it happened. One of the girls screamed. They spun around. She was gone. Only her flashlight lay on the floor, still glowing. Her camera continued recording, pointed at the ceiling. But she had vanished without a sound. Panic set in. They tried retracing their steps, but the halls no longer made sense. Corridors twisted into endless loops. Stairs led to dead ends. The building was changing around them. It was alive. And then another was taken. Jason. His flashlight beam whipped across the hall as something yanked him backward into the shadows. His scream tore through the corridor and then cut off suddenly, replaced by silence. When the others rushed to help, the room was empty. On the floor, his flashlight still trembled, as if something had just dropped it. The remaining 3 clung to each other, terrified. The whispers grew louder now, surrounding them, crawling into their ears. Some voices begged for help, others laughed, and one whispered their names one by one. They stumbled into another room. On the walls were scratch marks, long, deep gouges, as if someone had clawed until their fingers broke. In the corner, a door chain shut rattled violently. Something on the other side was scratching to get out. Suddenly, Marcus was gone, lifted into the air by an unseen force. His body slammed against the ceiling with a sickening crack. Blood sprayed down as his flashlight shattered, and then he too was gone. Now only 2 remained. Shaking, sobbing, they ran until they found a large office. Dust covered the desk, but on it sat a leather-bound journal. Desperate, they opened it. The pages were filled with madness. The doctor's handwriting described fear extraction. He had strapped patients to machines, claiming he could drain their terror and bottle it. The entries grew more frantic, more disturbing. He wrote about voices whispering from the walls, ordering him to continue, about patients who became something else, something no longer human. The final page chilled them to the bone. The asylum is alive now. The walls breathe. The patients serve it. And soon, so will I. Before they could speak, the overhead lights flickered and then burst. Glass rained down. They were left in complete darkness. The whispers rose into screams, hundreds of voices shrieking at once. One of the two was ripped into the dark, their scream fading fast. The last survivor clutched the journal, flashlight shaking. Then they saw it. A figure emerged from the shadows, tall, skeletal, its face hidden behind a cracked porcelain mask. From the cracks oozed a thick, black liquid that dripped to the floor. Every step it took echoed like thunder. The whispers stopped. The figure raised one hand and a single voice filled the air. "You belong to us now." The survivor's final scream echoed through the asylum. Then silence. The next morning, police entered the building. They found no bodies, no signs of struggle. Only one thing remained, a camera lying in the hallway, still recording. The footage showed glimpses of what happened, running footsteps, terrified cries, shadows darting across the walls. The last few seconds were the survivor's eyes, wide with terror, before the camera fell. That was all. The asylum still stands today. The doors are locked, the windows shattered, yet locals swear they hear laughter drifting from inside. Sometimes screams too. And if you ever walk too close on a stormy night, you may hear the whispers yourself. So would you dare to step inside?